Hello everyone, this is Ayesha and
this is Dean.
Dean, thank you so much for joining us. Hi Instagram, Facebook, we're live on both platforms. I hope you're all doing well. We're here today because we wanted to have a question and answer session with you all about Neuro Academy. As you all know, Neuro Academy is an online forum and a program that Dean and I created to address neuro, our
Correct.
neuro plan, which stands for nutrition, exercise, unwind or stress management. R is for restorative sleep, and O is for optimization of cognitive activities.
But at the same time, neuro as it applies to all neurological diseases, such as dementia,
Yes.
stroke, Parkinson's, depression, anxiety, stress management, cognitive issues that befalls all of us at this time. So I think we're at a very fortunate time in history where we have enough information where we can do things about all of those factors in our own daily life, in our own environments.
Give us a thumbs up if you can hear us, or if there's any issue with audio, and we'll adjust it to the best of our abilities right now. So we're actually putting this course out there to teach everyone, well, not teach, but kind of just help you understand the importance of neuro, the importance of nutrition. Thank you Zarzari, thank you Rabia. The importance of nutrition, the importance of exercise, of stress management, of sleep, and optimizing cognitive activity, but in a very personalized way.
Yeah, in a nuanced way.
We actually all know that eating healthy is really important. We all know that exercise is important. We all know that sleep is very important. We've talked about that multiple times, and we hear it from different venues. But I think the biggest problem is how do you make sure that those things are easy, they're achievable, and you actually have a goal for yourself to get to that point.
Absolutely. The hardest part of this is inculcating into your own life. Of course, coming to our forum, that controversy of what's healthy and not healthy should have been allayed by now. We've brought the science repeatedly from multiple domains, not just one-off paper, but from multiple domains of what is healthy when it pertains to nutrition or to exercise. The specific exercise programs that have been shown to grow the brain or affect anxiety or depression, everything, as well as what elements of sleep and how do you get out of the stranglehold of medications to get restorative sleep. So we're hoping to actually bring this to everybody in their communities, because what we do in the clinics is sick care.
Yeah, sick care is absolutely necessary. But we're trying to focus more on prevention of brain diseases, building a better brain. And I think that's very important given the very nature of the disease.
Correct. So if you have any questions, any really hot questions that you always wanted to ask somebody, really hot questions, yes, then you can ask me. And no, I'm just kidding. So you can ask either one of us, and we can give you some information.
Right.
It doesn't have to be just about neuro as well. Any neurological diseases or as it pertains to how lifestyle affects other neurological diseases.
Right.
Now we know its effect on MS and other autoimmune diseases as well. But basic general cognitive health.
Absolutely.
Maintaining or preserving, or even better than that, growing your potential to its nth degree as we get older. I mean, that's what we truly want to push.
Absolutely.
The fact that this small brain, 3 pounds, is so much more powerful than we give it credit for. And it comes to some simple measures in your own household, in your own life.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so basically, let me give you a description of what Neuro Academy is for. So Neuro Academy is an online course. It's 8 weeks of course on the neuro, and what you'll get is short videos on the why of nutrition and the how of nutrition, and for each and every other subject.
And for
well.
exercise and for stress and everything else as well.
Exactly, and along with that, you will get access to our Facebook session. It's a group where you will be able to see us live, interact with us, and we'll answer any questions that you may have. I think the biggest hurdle in any lifestyle program is the lack of coaching, and coaching makes a big difference.
And I'm not overstating that neuroacademy.com will be the ultimate forum for brain health.
Exactly.
Because along with that comes the app, which is BrainXQ, which is coming out very quickly. Already brainxq.com, you can go and get some idea of it. But between the app and this environment of data, small incremental data driven by science, this will be the biggest form of brain health anywhere. Nothing like it anywhere else.
We're really focusing on building and making Neuro Academy as the main resource for everybody to get their information for brain health. Right now we're working with this incredible team who's helping us with marketing. Marketing is important, putting it out there so that people are aware of what it is. But eventually, you want to make it available for everybody.
Yeah, right now there's a nominal cost, and believe me, that's just to maintain or build this incredible forum on brain health for everybody. But hopefully later on, we'll make this available to everybody. So we'll start with one question. By the way, this course starts in a couple of days.
Right. So the course actually starts on February 8th, which is this Friday. And I know that a lot of you guys have missed out on the cart closing because there was a deadline for people to enroll, and we kind of feel bad about the confusion. So we decided to honor the early bird code through tonight at midnight Eastern Standard Time. So it's still open. You'll get $100 off. Just go to neuroacademy.com, neuroacademy.com. And you can use the code NA19 early bird, and I can type it out for you, anyone who's interested, and you'll get $100 off the full purchase, and we'd be happy to work with you from then on.
And by the way, with the course comes multiple episodes of where we do 1 hour of question and answer as you're going through the course. So personalized program, basically.
Right.
Pins and needles.
Brenda Reed's question. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of scrolling up and down. So we'll answer Brenda's question. Brenda says, pins and needles in the feet during night preventing sleep. So you have pins and needles. Why does that happen?
So there are a couple of reasons. Pins and needles, by definition, is neuropathy. But there are different kind of neuropathies. Neuropathies where the nerve is dying back from the toes upward, or there's another kind of neuropathy which is actually radiculopathy, which is from the back. Mm-hmm. So there are multiple things that could be related to many things, from thyroid disorder to vitamin deficiencies, to some infections, or diabetes, which is a very common type, or even the nerve. So it's really important to figure that out. Yeah. Some electrolyte abnormalities sometimes can cause this. It's really important to see a neurologist early, because this could be something that could be progressive. So right now, as soon as you can, get an appointment. They can do some of the blood tests, some of the, and even things like EMG and nerve conduction studies where they look at the nerves themselves.
Hopefully it won't come to that, because that's a really painful procedure.
Yeah, a little
necessary. Necessary, but painful.
Not that painful.
It's not that painful, especially if you go to a good neurologist. I don't think it's painful.
Yeah, not at all. So I should just scare everybody.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. But it's important to know. Or it could be radiculopathy, meaning that the nerve is being pinched either in the back, or in the lumbar region, or in the muscle as it comes out of there. So that's another reason that usually, and it's usually that in that case it's usually positional. Yeah. So it's really important to figure out which one it is, because each of them have different connotations and different consequences, which you need to address.
Absolutely. Okay, I'll go ahead and answer another question. This is from Karen. It says, mother's family has a lot of dementia and Alzheimer's. Is plant-based diet best option for brain health? Yes, Karen, it is. Plant-based diet all the way. But, jokes apart, if you look at any dietary pattern that have been studied for brain health, whether it's Mediterranean, DASH, whatever it may be, it's the plant-based components that stand out. It's the greens, beans, nuts, whole grains, and foods that are, plant foods that are unprocessed are incredibly good. And there are certain foods that are better than the rest. Greens are amazing. Berries are incredibly good. Beans are a phenomenal source of plant-based protein, as well as tons and tons of fiber and complex starches that keep your sugar regulated. High sugar levels or high glucose levels in your circulation are associated with insulin resistance and inflammation. So plant-based diet is the best way to go.
Absolutely. So don't buy into these crazy concepts like your brain is made of fat, therefore you need fat.
Don't. Nothing but just a ridiculous theory.
Yeah, grains are important. They're great. Have allergies to them, but for everybody else, they're great.
Absolutely. So we'll take a question from Nasir. He says, is autism a neurological disorder? If yes, any new medical progress? Yes, it is a neurological progress. Unfortunately, there's no neurological disorder, but there hasn't really been any medical progress in its treatment. We're still in the phase of understanding the different hypotheses of why one gets autism or is born with autism. It definitely doesn't have to do anything with vaccination. That theory has been rejected multiple times. Even the paper that was published initially of understanding the disease better, and unfortunately there is no medical treatment.
With neuroimaging, we're becoming much more aware of its potential cause, because first of all, it's a spectrum. Remember, from those who are affected significantly to lightly, and the spectrum is difficult to study, but the imaging studies are giving us insight into what areas of the brain might be affected that might be, if not causative, it might be related to it.
Absolutely. Now the other question is from, I'm sorry, I can't see. Is there anything to do to counteract the effect of insomnia on the brain, aside from trying to get better sleep? Interesting question. So how do you counteract the effect of insomnia? So, you're asking about the damage that, lack of sleep may have caused. How do you counteract it? Living your best life. You have all these other factors such as nutrition, exercise, stress management, keeping your mind active. And by doing those and emphasizing those, even if you have really poor sleep patterns, I think you're going to give your brain resilience.
Absolutely. It's important to know the cause.
Yeah.
We have one blunt answer to everything: medicine. We're not against medicine. It serves its purpose at the right time, but always short period.
Yeah.
What is the cause of insomnia? Is it pain? We were just talking to a friend of ours right now. As we get older, and I'm talking about me, not her. As we get older, we have these little aches and pains that during the day, because you're so busy, you're not aware of it. But when you sleep, these aches and pains actually don't allow you to get to deep sleep.
Yeah.
So if you're sleeping and then waking up, that's a different kind of a problem than insomnia where you can't fall asleep.
Agreed.
Is the reason for you not falling asleep because there's running thoughts? Well, in that case, we have all these amazing tools in Neuro Academy course,
right,
where we teach you how to separate your thoughts from the bedroom situation, and over time you can actually completely cleanse your sleep hygiene. It's profoundly effective, even beyond cognitive behavioral therapy, which we talk about as well.
Agreed.
So every form of sleep disorder can be over time managed, but it needs for you to know all the tools and all the elements involved, and do it in a complex way, not in a blunt way where we just throw medicine at it.
Agreed.
And medicine, majority of the cycles which are needed for cleansing of the brain.
Absolutely. Okay, we're going to answer Marianne Post-Blum's questions. So
By the way, we have a lot more detail, a whole 2 weeks on sleep in the course.
Right, which includes sleep hygiene and everything else too. So check our neuroacademy.com.
By the way, sleep hygiene, there are 3 components. There's nutrition, environment, and behavior. And we could talk about each of those in detail.
Absolutely. Okay. Marianne says, thank you for doing this Q&A. You're welcome. Thank you for joining us. What can one do who follows your book's recommendation 95% of the time but still is experiencing a decline in their memory?
Then do the other 5%. No, I'm just kidding. No, no.
Did you hear that, Marianne?
No, I was a joke. It depends on what's the underlying cause of the memory disorder. You could be doing all of that, and if the underlying cause is anxiety and depression, and that's not being addressed, then neuro by itself is not going to do it. So there has to be a little bit of psychological thing. The cause could be something as simple as pain disorder. The cause could be something as simple as certain medications that are affecting you. The cause could be something as simple as very helpful, incredibly helpful, but it has to be contextualized with all the other complexities of health and environment that we have.
Absolutely.
But almost, if you don't have dementia to begin with, almost every cognitive decline can be helped to some extent.
To answer your question on omega-3s, how much? At least 250 milligrams of DHA. She says Ornish recommends 1 gram daily. That's totally fine. Okay, let's go to Instagram. I'm going to answer.
By the way, none of those data is validated. So people are coming up with numbers, and we did the work in a lot of places. The good thing about DHA and omega is that Unless you have some bleeding disorder or you have something of that nature, then if you take too much, you can increase the bleeding disorder. So amount matters.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to answer a question here. I'm youngest of 5. This is from Sausalito style. Ooh. I'm youngest of 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it? The question, right?
Yeah.
I'm youngest of 5 and mother diagnosed with dementia 8 years ago. How to transition towards plant-based as a distributed family with range of personalities. Okay.
Divide and conquer. No, I'm just kidding. No.
It's a challenge.
You know what? One of the best things we've learned is that if one person does a good job with themselves, that example slowly goes to a second person, then to a third person, then to a fourth person. Because lecturing and fear and all that stuff doesn't work as well as examples of success.
Yeah.
So make your situation an example of success, and making sure that everybody sees that it's not that hard. It's incremental, so they don't think, oh, she's special, or he's different. No, you are able to do it because you took on this incremental challenge. And then without knowing, almost everybody slowly changes. That's happened with our families.
Right. That's true.
Absolutely.
That's true. Okay, Andrea says, I had a meningioma and an AVM successfully removed from my brain 10 years ago. Are AVMs known to contribute towards Alzheimer's or dementia? So for those of you who don't know, AVM is basically a tangled collection of blood
arteries
vessels.
And veins.
Right. And sometimes the walls of these arteries, because they're abnormally shaped, can be very friable. It can be very friable, and so any changes in blood pressure, glucose levels actually makes these arteries burst open, and there's bleeding into the brain. So she had her removed, and she's saying whether that can contribute to Alzheimer's disease. So AVM itself can, it's a developmental disorder of the arteries of the brain or any other area in the body, and if you live a healthy life, and if you haven't really had much brain damage during the removal of AVM, then I don't think you should have any dementia or any cognitive impairment. But given that you already had an intervention in your brain, I think you need to be way more careful than everybody else as far as your blood pressure is concerned, as far as development of prediabetes or insulin resistance is concerned, as far as your cholesterol levels are concerned. So you need to make sure that you eat really well, whole food, plant-based diet, exercise a lot, make sure you're not stressed, all of the elements of neuro stuff. So just live as if you have high risk and live a very healthy life to minimize your risk.
Absolutely.
Good luck to you. Okay, and then medical marijuana to assist in sleeping. Oh goodness, I'll let you take this one.
Why me?
Any repercussion on brain health? The reason.
Yes.
The reason, okay, so medical marijuana. Go ahead.
Thank you. She's throwing me under the bus. So I'll start. This is a complex question. Is medical marijuana useful? Absolutely. In what? We don't know completely. We're going to learn more. It should have been studied in the past. It will be studied in the future. We will know the nuances, how much, what kind, what combination, for what disease. It's not good for every disease. But marijuana in general, especially chronic marijuana use, is not good for short-term memory. There's data there. So, and definitely it will indirectly affect long-term memory. For anxiety, a lot of my patients have taken it, and it's fantastic. But you have to understand that it's a chemical that affects the brain directly, and it has consequences and definitely effect on memory. So it should be taken down in that context. Yeah. Long term, will we use it in different ways and different elements of it? Absolutely. Right now, we have to be a little more careful instead of jumping to the next bandwagon, because I worry about that, given its potential side effects.
Absolutely. Okay, we have a comment. We have a comment from Dr. Rankin. Hey, Dr. Rankin,
Our
I'm
friend.
So glad.
One of the most brilliant people we know.
Dr. Howard Rankin from South Carolina. He says, very good point about social proof, Dean. It's a team effort, and one needs inspiration and support to make change. Absolutely. It's in behavioral modification 101. Okay, Diane says, my husband has trigeminal neuralgia, is on anticonvulsant and opioid. The drugs don't help. He eats plant-based, but has trouble exercising due to the pain. What can he do for his brain? You know, a lot of us actually have some limitations in one of the modalities of lifestyle. Like the other gentleman who said that, you know, he has bad sleep patterns, what else can he do? And what we say is, you know, the brain is a complex model. I mean, if you have limitations in certain areas, you basically put all the burden and all your focus on the other elements that you have control over. So if he can't exercise, you know, going all the way a whole food plant-based, making sure that he stretches, he works on his balance, he, you know, minimizes his stress, reduces his good stress. Cognitive activity is incredibly important. And, you know, we talk about that a lot. I talk a lot about nutrition because food is my passion and I went to cooking school. But, you know, Dean's research on cognitive activity is incredibly important. The theory or the thought behind...
trigeminal neuralgia.
I'm sorry?
Trigeminal neuralgia.
Right. I mean, it's a very painful condition, but I was saying the theory behind cognitive activities or cognitive resilience is, you know, you're basically creating connections as every time you keep your mind active, every time you push yourself to engage in a real life, complex, challenging activity. And, you know, you can have as little as 2 connections between the cells or as many as 30,000 connections. And you're building those connections with optimizing your cognitive activity is incredibly important.
Yeah, with trigeminal neuralgia itself, it's one of the most painful conditions in medicine.
Yeah.
So there are many different things you can do. You probably have already spoken to people that have told you about surgeries, about radiotherapy and proton and beam therapy, where they try to affect the vessel and the nerve that's sometimes being enveloped by the vessels. Sometimes they put a wrapping around it. So all these procedural things.
Yeah.
But medication is definitely useful because a lot of times after a while it goes away by itself.
Yeah, he's on anticonvulsants and opioids.
The anticonvulsants themselves, such as Depakote and others, usually have an effect on the brain. It's not permanent, but the person feels duller and less aware and alert. So realize that some of that may be due to anticonvulsant medication. So there's not much you can do as far as that's concerned. What you can do is, in the face of all that, to maintain brain health, is what Ayesha said.
Mm-hmm.
We just do everything else to maintain that brain health.
Yeah.
Besides the surgical, besides everything else.
Yeah.
That's critical.
And also, Diane, I think you may have done this already, but I think you know, having a consultation with a neurosurgeon, with a pain clinic is also important because there are a lot of other treatments for trigeminal neuralgia, including radiation, stereotactic surgeries. So try to find out other procedures as well. And good luck to you. Okay, and then Julie says, I heard you speak 18 months ago at the Plant-Based Healthcare Conference in Anaheim. Hi, Julia. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm so grateful for your work. Thank you for doing this Q&A. My mother is dying of Alzheimer's. Her father also died of Alzheimer's. Am I then at high risk? Oh, Julie, we're really sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
That's sad. But Julie, you know, we've talked about this in the talk at Anaheim, and if you remember, there's only a few percentage of individuals who have a high genetic risk for developing Alzheimer's disease. There's only about 3% of the population that have those genes. You know, for the rest of the 97%, it's lifestyle. If you know, the likelihood of you having a genetic proclivity for Alzheimer's disease is probably there, but you have to live a very, very healthy lifestyle, and if you do so, you're going to be able to prevent it.
Having 1 or 2 first-degree family members does increase your risk.
Yeah.
We do. We both have two grandparents and others that have had, so that increases our risk. But that risk is not through an Alzheimer's gene. It's a lifestyle gene. Yeah. Our genes for immune response, our genes for vascular response, our genes for garbage disposal, and others. Those are all amenable to environmental factors. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we might have inherited some poor genes when it comes to one of those, but if we do the necessary things to alleviate that risk, we'll be better off than the general public. Mm-hmm. Same thing with you. Yeah. Even people who had the big genetic driver, which is ApoE4, and if you have 2 ApoE4s, 1 from each parent, your risk goes up 20 times. Mm-hmm. Like 50% of people who had both genes didn't develop the disease. Yeah. What happened? Lifestyle. Mm-hmm. So by instituting the lifestyle changes right now, and it doesn't mean one of them. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, we're not the kind to give you the one little pill here, one little vitamin there, or eat fat just to make people feel good. No, it's not good. It's all of them. Nutrition, take it on full force. And it's not even about avoiding Alzheimer's. It's about maintaining fabulous brain vitality late in life.
Yeah.
In fact, expanding it.
Absolutely.
But it takes a lot of work. Not a lot of work. It takes some organizing.
Yeah.
You're on good nutrition, more exercise, more than you thought you needed, specifically for yourself. And that's where the course comes at neuroacademy.com.
Yeah.
If you come and join us. When it comes to stress management.
Yeah.
And stress management for us is increasing the good stress. Actually, that's the center of everything.
Because it's the cognitive resilience that you want to build.
Yeah, and then the kind of mental activity that truly gives you protection, not Sudoku. So it's much more than that. So
by now everybody knows that Dean hates Sudoku,
I hate
right?
Sudoku.
Right? You guys know, right?
Little squares,
Yeah.
adding to
He
9.
hates Sudoku.
Is that?
I have a feeling we're going to get sued by the Sudoku company.
There's no Sudoku company. No. But in any case, but they were very passive, very good people. They won't sue me.
Sudoku
But nonetheless,
company.
I think it's really important to take on this, and it's not just brain health. It's about all health. But this comprehensive, personalized approach, which we push through Neuro Academy and others, is actually central to this.
Absolutely.
And by the way, you don't have to buy any concoctions or vitamins or a blue jellyfish thing. It's a complex, personalized lifestyle.
Yeah. Okay. Another question on Instagram. How to discuss plant-based diet for your child when one parent and most family are not plant-based? That's hard, but I think we always underestimate children.
Yeah.
We always think that, they'll run to their processed foods and they don't really care. But if you give them a bigger picture of why it's important, I think they will pick it up. We're very lucky because our kids, have been plant-based all their lives.
They just wrote a book on it.
They wrote a book on it, by the way.
Super Me.
Shameless plug-in for our kids' book, Super Me. It's on Amazon. It's about
Alex and Sophie.
how do you develop a healthy brain.
Get that book for your kids.
Yeah. How do you develop a healthy brain by living a healthy lifestyle? And obviously, the nutrition part is a whole food plant-based, and they say why. And so
in their own voice.
Yeah, but I understand that it's really hard when one of the parents is not, because they get mixed messages, and they're surrounded by a culture that doesn't really support a plant-based diet. But I think they will understand. But I think your kid will understand.
And like Ayesha said, conversations about the why.
Exactly.
Conversations even make it more broader, not just about health, but environment.
Right.
A conversation about how the food is affecting their body. They want to know about that.
Right.
And the brain. And then secondly, make the food tasty.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. These companies know how to use salt, sugar, and fat to make things tasty, to overwhelm our senses and to make us addicted to them.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no question of that.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to compete against that.
Mm-hmm.
So learn how to make food tasty, and Ayesha teaches that in the course.
Yeah, well, Sophie, my daughter Sophie, and I are about to put together a cooking show. We're going to do, a couple of times a month, a cooking show on YouTube. So that should be interesting. She's really interested in promoting healthy plant-based diet for kids. So we'll do it from our kitchen.
And in fact, you'll see the videos fairly shortly. On my end, I tried out for the program. I was rejected as part of their cooking show. So
No, you're not rejected, Dean.
Okay.
You're like the taster. You're gonna tell us whether it tastes good or not. Okay.
But I will do that. But I really think that complex conversation, and make the food tasty.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's, Ayesha went to culinary school while being in the ICU at Columbia University. It doesn't get tougher than that. And the reason was that if we just dictated to people and just lectured people and just judged people into submission towards exercise, towards nutrition, or it's not just failure, it's arrogance at its nth degree.
Right.
So learning how to make tasty, healthy food was the highest priority, even more than your PhD and your master's and your
absolutely. It's the best public health service, honestly. We made cheese fries, like obviously plant-based cheese, and fries that are not fried. I mean, it sounds so weird. Fries that are not fried and cheese that is not cheese. But I tell you, okay, you tell.
Yeah, let me. So for Super Bowl, we were a little sad that I've always loved French fries, but the French fries out there are not healthy with oil, So and that crispiness on the outside with seasoning, with softness on the inside. She made for Super Bowl plant-based cheese, which you'll learn in the course, plus French fries with seasoning that you will never have ever tasted.
Wow. Thanks, honey.
Ever. But it's important.
Yeah.
That's actually medicine,
Right.
because to free people from the thing that damages you is medicine.
Absolutely.
I'm getting too passionate about French fries.
Yeah,
so.
you can tell, right? Okay, we're going to take the next question. Brenda says, are there studies involving long-time vegans and high cholesterol still affecting the brain like meat eaters? Are there studies involving long-time vegans and high cholesterol still affecting the brain? There are studies that show that people who consume cholesterol or have had high cholesterols during their midlife actually have a higher risk for Alzheimer's disease. Many studies, a women's health study, the Kaiser Northern California study, and also, I'm forgetting the other study, but there are 3 main studies that have showed that people who have high cholesterol levels actually are at a higher risk of developing.
As much as 57% increased risk.
Exactly. And when they looked at their brains on MRI studies, they actually had smaller brains. And it makes sense, you know. Cholesterol damages the arteries, and we have billions of small little arteries the size of your hair that supply nutrition and oxygen to different parts of your brain. And so what happens is when these arteries are clogged by cholesterol and, you know, plaques, you know, the brain actually starts slowly and gradually dying off. So people have shrunken brains. So yes, people who are on a whole food plant-based diet, or who have even been vegetarians, especially here in the Adventist Health Study, they tend to have better brain health and lower risk of Alzheimer's disease compared to those who eat meat, including poultry and dairy products. All right, we'll take another question.
I think this should be.
Yeah, this is going to be our final
Last
question.
2.
So, do you know of any facilities that follow your memory loss improvement techniques? Other than ours? No, there isn't. That's why we're putting out Neuro Academy. Our Neuro Academy is essentially an online forum to empower people in understanding what the elements are. And that element of coaching is the additional thing that is included in Neuro Academy.
Yes.
So just being connected with you, being able to answer all of your questions, being able to kind of guide you in that journey towards better brain health is what we do in Neuro Academy.
And then in a few months, there will be a certificate program, meaning that people who get the certificate for it, then they can start helping others with their journey as well.
Right, absolutely. Okay, I'm going to answer one more question. Better to exercise low intensity more often or high intensity less often?
Depends.
Yeah.
That was my favorite answer in medical school, but it didn't work all the time. You know, do I do surgery or not surgery? Depends. Doesn't work. You know, but in any case, it depends. If one of the things we talk about is leg strength, and
Right.
we talk about it in the course quite a bit. Leg strength is significantly important.
Right.
But for somebody who already has semi-good leg strength, but they're not doing aerobic, which is just as important, then that's your priority. So it depends where you are in that journey of aerobic versus anaerobic health, because you need both of them. And if you're going to do any anaerobic or weight training, it's got to be legs.
Absolutely.
But depends on where you are in each of those. If you're not doing any anaerobic, then start prioritizing that.
Absolutely.
But at the end, you need both. And you need more than you thought. Because that's going to, remember, we say that exercise actually grows the brain.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, guys, we have to be respectful of your
Maybe
time.
one more question?
Okay, we'll do one more question. We'll do it from Facebook then. What ages is the book for, and what is the name of the kids cooking channel on YouTube? This is awesome. Laura. Hey, Laura, it's not up yet, but Sophia and I are going to, create the cooking show in the next 2 weeks, and we'll post about it. We'll advertise about it. Their book is actually, sorry.
No. The
Ages 8
yes.
8 to 14. The book is for 8 to 14 years old.
Exactly.
And it's called Super Me.
And the videos will be posted both in our Team Sherzai and
Yes.
in their website, which has been there for many years, which is thesciencekids.com.
Yes, they go by thesciencekids.com. They have their own YouTube channel and their Facebook page.
Yeah.
All right, so thank you so much for joining us. We came here to give you information about Neuro Academy. Please visit our website called neuroacademy.com. The early bird code is NA19 early bird. I'm actually typing it and including it there for you, both on Instagram and on Facebook, so you can put there and you can get $100 off of this course.
But I mean, the cost that we're actually charging is just for sustaining it and growing it into something that can be provided for everybody. But given that we have 5 people working behind the scene, not just in marketing, but maintaining the thing, and we're doing 4 live sessions of training throughout the 2 months,
Right.
plus dozens and dozens of videos each week
Yes.
on different elements of brain health, on why and the how. I think it's nominal, and I think it will change your life.
We appreciate you. We look forward to working with you. Regardless, we're going to be connected. And I think we get more joy out of this than anyone else, because to us, this is true public health. This is, not really waiting for something to happen on a mass scale for us to be able to be empowered and, take control of our health. This is the grassroots level change that we always wish to see, and we're so grateful to be connected to each and every one of you.
Today have neuroacademy.com.
Neuroacademy.com. Neuroacademy.com. I'll go ahead and type it out for you. But if you go to neuroacademy.com, you'll get all the information. And remember, we actually opened up the early bird deadline to midnight tonight, East Coast time, so you should be able to go in and enroll. If you have any questions, please message us on Instagram, on Facebook. We check it personally, so it'll take us a little bit of time to get back to you, all of your comments and questions, but we love listening. We love hearing back from you, your feedbacks. That's basically it.
Thank you.
Love you guys. Have a great day.